All right, here we are for round one. We won the die roll. We will play first. And this is a fine hand. We have a Temple and a Caryatid, which gives us access to a lot of both colors and a huge amount of mana. Hopefully we're playing as a deck where Doomwake is good. If we're not, we at least have Underworld Connections in our hand, as well as an Abrupt Decay to potentially protect that from a sphere or something of the like. Another version of this deck that I actually was sort of messing around with trying, I haven't actually built it yet. I'm going to close this so we have a better view of the screen here. But one thing that I was definitely exploring is a possibility of making a sort of more aggressive bent to the Constellation deck, playing some number of bestow creatures. Or at least having maybe a couple in the main deck and more on the sideboard to bring in to fight against the Esper decks and the blue-white decks. Just the bestow creatures are interesting because specifically Herald of Torment and Boonsatyr, because they give you Boonsatyr gives you instant speed threats, and Herald of Torment can allow you to fly over Elspeth tokens and whatnot. But they allow you to just change the direction of your deck. One of the problems is that you're playing a similar sort of game against control, except you do it worse. And what we're looking at if we're playing a bestow version is we are becoming more of an aggressive deck. All right, so we're going to start with a Temple. I think we want to leave this on top. We're a little light on land, and there's no reason to send that to the bottom here. Our opponent has double mulliganed, so we're already a bit ahead. So we're just going to go ahead and lead with a Caryatid. All right, so opponent just plays a Mutavault. Here, I think I just want to go ahead and connections my land. If I draw an untapped land, that's great. I did not, so we're going to take some damage and connections this. And say go. I'm not using my connections immediately because if my opponent has Thoughtseize, I want to give him... Oh, all right, my opponent just conceded. So we don't really know what our opponent's deck is. I think there's a very good chance it's just black-white mid-range, seeing what we did. I don't really... Against black-white mid-range, I think that Bile-Blight is a relatively important card to deal with opposing Pack Rats, if that's what our opponent's deck is. It's a little unfortunate that we don't have more information than that, but I think that, assuming that is what our opponent is playing, I think that we want to get rid of one Brain Maggot and one Abrupt Decay. Brain Maggot because if we play against Bile-Blight, Brain Maggot can be serious detriment, and we don't really have a great way to know whether our opponent has Bile-Blight or has Bile-Blight in their hand when we or at least playing our second Maggot. Bile-Blight of our own gives us a solution to opposing Pack Rats, which is very important. Abrupt Decay is still good at dealing with Underworld Connections, and if our opponent, given that our opponent is black-white, also gives us a tool that is powerful against Banishing Light, which many of those decks have as well. So here, we want to keep our, just general engine cards. Primeval Bounty is still excellent. Doomwake Giant is surprisingly good against a lot of these decks because of Lifebane Zombie, being able to just clear that off the board, and it's just a reasonably sized threat. Plus, if we're able to actually get the engine going, it can just totally wipe out what your opponent has. So we'll see what our opponent's actually playing, and hopefully we are sideboarded in a reasonable fashion for it. So we're going to mulligan this. We'd have to draw basically land for this hand to not be pretty terrible. We do have a Temple of Malady, but it is a little aggressive to keep a hand that has so many high casting cost things and only the one land. So we are going to mulligan. We're going to keep this. So basic swamp into Thoughtseize. All right. And our Bile-Blight goes away, so we are likely facing a Pack Rat soon, is my guess. We can't afford to leave Bounty on top if our opponent does have Pack Rat, so I think we want to dig for more stuff. Oh, there's no rat. All right, well, I kind of wish we had a Bounty on top of our deck now. So go ahead and play... We're going to play the Mutavault, I think, because maybe we actually do want to attack with it. Play the Caryatid. Our opponent doesn't kill it. Lifebane Zombie. Okay. Well, poor Eidolon, I'm guessing. Maybe Corsair if he has like his own... Alright, no, he takes the Eidolon, unsurprisingly. So we will play Corsair. Now I really wish that I had that that Primeval Bounty. Well, there is another Primeval Bounty, so we'll leave it on top. Alright, he dies, we get attacked. We will attack him with a Mutavault. Then we get to play a bounty next turn. Unless our opponent steals it away, which would be very, very rude of him. We get Lifebaned, which is fine. I'm just going to play the bounty. This is an Oblivion Ring. Curses. Well, we do have 2 Abrupt Decays in our deck to free that. Along with lots of things that just kill Lifebane Zombie. There's a Mutavault. Alright, well, let's activate our Mutavault, play another Mutavault. And I think I just want to play Caryatid here, in the chance that I draw some sort of card drawing effect. There's very little reason to keep it in my hand. The only reason would be if I do free the Primeval Bounty, I can play Caryatid and get a creature. And it looks like our opponent's probably playing Elspeth here. So I would really like to draw Doomwake Giant. That would be excellent right here. Doomwake Giant. Doomwake Giant. Maybe. Come on. Come on. I'm drawing quite a bit of land and mana sources in general with its double Caryatid. And nothing to take advantage of it. Alright, a Caryatid, perfect. Now I am going to hold the Caryatid because maybe I do need the body. Uh-oh. Does he have Bile Blight? All right. Well, we're gonna lose to Bile Blight if he has Bile Blight, but we can't just afford to take a ton of damage here. I guess we could actually just block 1. Yeah, this is fine. We don't actually lose both our Mutavaults this way. If he does have Bile Blight, we take the same amount of damage. Now we still need to draw... Ooh, an Obsidian. Alright, well... We are in some trouble. This is definitely one of the ways that this deck can lose, is you just sort of flooding out. And, ooh, we're gonna eat a lot of Blossoms. Come on. No. Can I win with that? I don't think so. I think I need that though. I think I need to be able to kill either Elspeth or maybe I needed to bottom that just because I needed to actually be able to draw something with Eidolon, and then yeah, because I need to. No, I'm actually just gonna die to this. You should have bottomed that. That was bad, but we're dead. So I think we're dead basically no matter what. So sideboard wise, I don't think we want to really change anything. I definitely think it's possible that we actually want another Abrupt Decay in our deck because our opponent does have the Oblivion Rings that make Abrupt Decay better. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring in Abrupt Decay. I think I'm going to take out a Brain Maggot. We didn't really see... Brain Maggot's actually pretty good at blocking Lifebane Zombie as well. We didn't actually see Pack Rat from him, so I don't know if... maybe we actually don't even want Bile Blight. Some of these decks don't have Pack Rat, but it's kind of dangerous to just let him, have free reign and not actually, have answers to it. I think I'm going to take a Mana Bloom. Mana Bloom is a card that, one of the things we saw that game, we kind of flooded out, and a big part of that is, the fact that we have so much mana in our deck. We have Caryatid and Mana Bloom to enable us to actually, sort of go off with our various combo pieces. And Mana Bloom, Caryatid is a card that is certainly better in multiples if you don't have the key pieces than Mana Bloom is, and we don't want to flood out like we did there. So I think that this is a reasonable solution. Go ahead and submit. We will play first. I'm not going to mulligan. This is a good hand. We have Mana Bloom to potentially accelerate us into Eidolon or Courser. We have Doomwake, so we can, not just, even if he does have a Lifebane zombie, we have a good answer to it. I don't know if you can hear Natalie watching Orange is the New Black in the background. It's very loud. I can hear it. It's like through the wall even. My door's closed. Alright, so he kept. We will play Temple. And what have we here? We want another land, so I'm putting that on top. We're getting Thought Seized. Guess we're getting Thought Seized. Yep. So it's interesting what he chooses to take here. Mana Bloom's not an unreasonable choice, just given the sort of tempo of the way that my hand could possibly play out. I think that Eidolon and Courser are also reasonable, and Decay depending on what he has. So he took the Mana Bloom. So I'm going to play the Forest because that he doesn't know that I have the Swamp, and there's very little benefit to actually playing the Swamp. So here, my turn. Our opponent looks to be double queuing or something because he's taking a long time. All right, so I want to play the Swamp and then play Courser. Hopefully, it doesn't just kill Courser and then play Lifebane Zombie, because that's the really sad sequence that can possibly happen here. When we, rather than having a bunch of action, we turn out to have very little. If either of these stays in play, it's generally fairly good for us, but lost connection to the game. All right. I would pause, but I've had a lot of trouble with the issues relating to the webcam since I started using that with pausing, so it can be an issue. So we're just gonna hang out and wait until he's back, I guess. I don't want to just break the entire video here. Do. Maybe he's just so fed up that I, had a land to play my Courser. Can't believe you drew a land when I thought seized your Mana Bloom. You're so lucky. Come on, man! Don't make me sit here and hum like the Jeopardy theme and generally be sad. He's offline, so he's certainly not just sitting there double queuing. Whew. Do. do 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 I guess I'll just just talk about random other thoughts I have on this deck while I'm sitting here anyway. One of the things that I think is actually a compelling argument for playing a third color in these Constellation decks is just how good temples are. And how little a cost it is to actually play that third color along with, once you have Caryatid and you have Mana Bloom and Temple. So there's all sorts of things you could possibly play. Like, one thing that I sort of joked about playing was Notion Thief. Someone that has Revelation is like, all right, I'll Notion Thief you. Which can certainly make those things more difficult for them to plan around. Anytime you actually have the 4 mana open, they can just get totally crushed there. But that seems like it'd be difficult to actually pull off. I feel like it's probably better to go on the Slaughter Games plan if that's the sort of thing that you're interested in. I do want to try the heavier bestow creature sideboard plan and possibly even main deck. I think that there is a lot to be said for the possibility of activating Constellation instant speed. I had played Pharika in a previous version of the deck, or in a version of the deck briefly, and I just wasn't super impressed by it. By itself, it just doesn't do anything in a lot of situations. And a lot of times when you get to the point where Pharika is good, you're already in a situation where you are in excellent shape against most decks. So you can definitely find situations where Pharika is incredibly powerful. The problem is that it's a card with incredibly low floor. Like, playing Pharika, when if you draw like a bunch of mana accelerates and Pharika, your draw doesn't do anything. And that can be a pretty big problem. I also wonder if the deck doesn't just want Thoughtseize in the main deck instead of Brain Maggot in the main deck. Brain Maggot obviously has benefits of fueling your synergies and such, but Thoughtseize costing 1 is a huge deal, and not being vulnerable to removal in terms of being able to ensure that their card is gone forever matters a lot. But at the same time, Brain Maggot doesn't cost you life and it triggers your Constellation and can block things, which is actually quite relevant. It's possible that you actually want some mix of them in your main deck rather than just one or the other. All right, well, there he is. Me and Teresa is back. 3 minutes after doing nothing. I've just been sitting here babbling. All right. Don't kill my guy. My guy's dead. Don't Lifebane Zombie me. There's Lifebane Zombie. Sure. It's made me wait so long to just have exactly what I was hoping not to happen in sequence. Alright, we're just going to take a hit from this Lifebane Zombie, because we have Doomwake Giant in our hand. We're just going to cast that and kill it. It's kind of like, our own Lifebane Zombie, killing his guy and giving us a body. You are doomed, sir. Doomed! Doomed! Is that guy dying too? Yep. Is it Obsidat time? Obsidaddy? We do have a downfall, thankfully, so we can kill Obsidat. Ooh, Eidolon. I think we just want to kill Obsidat rather than play Eidolon here. I wonder. Yeah, I think that the damage seems like it's a pretty big deal. It's a 7 life. It's a 5 life point swing. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we just want to play Eidolon. Though if he plays like Elspeth, this is actually weird. So Obsidian, it represents 5 damage whether I kill Obsidian this turn or next. And if I let Obsidian hit me, he could potentially just play Elspeth too, and make guys. So I'm actually really far behind both of those, and I think that I just want to I want to kill Obsidian this turn. I think that there's sufficient potential things that can go wrong for me, just taking 7 damage and then still having to kill Obsidian the next turn. Like, it's not like I can then play Eidolon the following turn, and play Eidolon this turn and then play like a bunch of enchantments the following turn, because I still am basically committed to killing Obsidian because it just does so much damage to me so fast. Oh, and he's lost connection again. Great. This is horrible. He's like literally playing every card I don't want him to play at every opportunity and taking forever doing it because he keeps disconnecting. This is one of the least fun games of Magic I've played in a long time. Do 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 do. Is he just like disconnecting long enough that he's not gonna get not actually gonna get removed from the game, and just coming back whenever. He's not gonna get idle timeouted, but I hope his hand is just Banishing Light at this point. So I get to play Eidolon, he Banishing Lights it, then I Abrupt Decay, get Eidolon back, and start going off. It's also possible that this matchup I should have Thoughtseize in my deck, knowing that he has both Elspeth and Obsidian. There's there's things that are difficult for me to potentially kill. And this is one of the frustrating things about playing as black decks in Standard right now, is like, as it stands, it actually looks like Bioblight is just not good against his deck. We haven't seen Pack Rat yet, and it's possible it just isn't in his deck. But it's such a powerful card that if we don't have Bioblight in our deck, we can potentially just lose to it. And that's one of the really frustrating things about that card to me, is that you basically have to respect it even when it's not actually in your opponent's deck. If it's possible for it to be. Kill your Obsidian. Don't play another one. Or a Lifebane Zombie. If you play a Lifebane Zombie, I'm going to be particularly upset because I just drew the Eidolon of Blossoms. Elspeth? Elspeth's going to make me upset too. Blah. Alright. There's a Bioblight that actually does something against Elspeth. They're not really enough, because we can't actually kill Elspeth here. We really need to find some action that triggers Eidolon. We really would like to draw Doomwake Giant. Doomwake Giant would be fantastic. Really. It's kind of an odd attack in my mind, because this means that I can actually attack his Elspeth next turn. Like, I'm taking 2 damage here. I guess it's not that bad. Doomwake Giant. Temple. Alright, Downfall's great. Going to say go. So we're going to block Mutavault, we're going to block Soldier, and we're going to Abrupt Decay Lifebane Zombie. Because, well, we have to, basically. Yep. Another Lifebane Zombie. That is not good for us. So I think that I'm best off, like I have enough ways to kill Lifebane Zombie that I think that I just want to kill this and not offer the trade here and say go. Like if I draw a Doomwake Giant or anything, like I can start comboing off of Eidolon and Lifebane Zombie is not going to kill me, but I do only have 3 turns and I don't think the possibility of him blocking is really worth it because Eidolon's so good. So Abrupt Decay was really bad here, and this is, you know, one of the cards that I normally sideboard out a lot against black decks. We just drew another land. Well, we could draw Mana Bloom and hope to rebuy, but I think that we just want to put it on the bottom and hope to find something else. Maybe actually that's bad because Mana Bloom yeah, that was bad. Mana Bloom gets us the random card on top. That was really bad. Mana Bloom gets us the random card on top anyway through Eidolon and gives us a Mana Bloom to continue chaining. I was sort of thinking that, like, oh, I don't want to, you know, cycle basically, but it's far better than cycling. All right. And we may need more than that. And we're dead. Well, no, we're not dead actually, but we're basically dead. And if I had, if I had that Mana Bloom, I might not be. But here we have to downfall this. You know, we would play Mana Bloom, draw this. We have to downfall this and sack to this, and then he can attack me with Mutavault, and I have to block with Eidolon anyway. So we just ended up drawing, you know, too many reactive cards here. I mean, ended up, you know, saving us, you know, doing pretty well for us, but we weren't able to actually get anything going because, you know, he was able to play, like, you know, Obsidian and Elspeth that we had to deal with and took a ton of damage in the process. And, you know, we have, you know what, I guess we're not really, you know, too far over in terms of like the actual mana sources that we have, but it took us a little too long to actually get going. And again, you know, the fact that we have Abrupt Decay here instead of something proactive, like if we'd drawn, you know, something that can actually, if we drawn like, you know, we may not die, but I think we're dead. He's probably just gonna activate his Mutavault and force us to trade, in which case we're just gonna die to Demon, because there's nothing, there's nothing that we can draw that can stop both Mutavault and Demon here. Yes, we're dead. I guess we could have drawn, that was actually bad. I should have blocked, and then I could have drawn Eidolon. Well, I just clicked through blocking. Yeah, we were gonna drop Ray Maggot anyway, so I should have blocked the Mutavault. Then I could potentially draw Eidolon into Downfall, which could actually still win that game. But I mean, there, you know, he basically had the ability to stop all of my stuff, you know, very well. He had the Doomblade into Lifebane Zombie curve that I explicitly said I hoped he didn't have. And then, you know, had Obsidian, Elspeth, which were really difficult for me to deal with given the configuration of the sort of removal I drew. I mean, you know, I did draw down, you know, a number of downfalls, but because of how much damage I took from, you know, Obsidian and the Elspeth creatures before I was able to actually draw ways to deal with them, I wasn't really able to do anything. I did draw Eidolon, but Eidolon just wasn't very good there because it didn't actually chain me into anything. This was the last actual enchantment I drew. So anyway, let's go on to the next one, and we'll see if we can't do better.